Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip where the Fat Doctor UK says you can't control your health. She's also going to be talking about the top 5 excuses doctors use to justify their medical fat phobia. These are going to be some of the most bitter, bad takes that you have ever heard, so stick around to the end to see. Did you know I have a second channel where I release content that is not related to fat acceptance? That channel is called Cynical Reacts. Be sure to subscribe and go check out the 3 videos that I've released on that one so far. Here's a link. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
Hi everyone, this is my new series of videos entitled Top 5 Excuses that Doctors Use to Justify Their Medical Fat Phobia.
It's a series? So you're gonna come up with 5 excuses like every single week? Okay.
I've already recorded an entire set of videos, about 25 minutes worth of videos, and then there was a problem with my phone and I saved them all as drafts and they all disappeared, so I'm now doing this again.
I've done that before. Dude, I've recorded an entire video before and then realized that the microphone was muted. So now every time before I start filming, I do like 3 different microphone checks just to be sure, dude. That is the worst.
Note to self, record on your phone and then upload. Do not trust the TikTok app. Anyway.
Don't trust the TikTok app, I agree.
So, yes, top 5 excuses that doctors use to justify their medical fat phobia. Excuse number 1 is, I just care about your health.
What a weak excuse. A doctor caring about another person's health. That's the dumbest excuse I've ever heard.
Here's a lot, doctors care about health. It's their job, after all.
Yeah, that's silly. A doctor pretending to care about your health?
Is it not? And much as I sort of love the sentiment, I'm going to have to call you up on something here.
Okay, I do love the sentiment of a doctor caring about my health as well. I kind of expect that out of my doctors, if I'm being real.
What is health? Please.
What is health? What the hell is health? What the health?
Define it. In fact, go ahead right now. Pause this video and have a go at defining health.
A lack of obesity. That's health. I'm just taking the piss, mate. I just want to give you a whole time.
Because I pretty much guarantee you every single individual is going to have a different definition.
I don't know, man. I think the only people that would have a very interesting definition of health would be fat activists. I think for the most part, we are all in agreement on what health is. A lack of disease. A lack of physical ailments is what I would call health. Like, you don't have the diabetes, you don't have the obesity, you don't have a lot of other conditions.
There is no universal definition. In fact, I find whenever I do this exercise, and I do it a lot with all the different people that
You do this exercise a lot? Well, that sounds fat phobic to be exercising that much. I don't like that.
Teach, all the different webinars that I do, all the different organizations that
All the teaching you do? Oh my goodness gracious. If anybody has paid for this person's course, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you feel you got your money's worth? Do you feel completely ripped off and scammed at all? If her course has changed your life for the better, I would like to hear about it.
Work with. I'll get them to define health. I'll ask them to define health. And I find it's actually easier to talk about what...
Dude, imagine an alcoholic being like, what even is sobriety, bro? Can you define sobriety? You can't, can you? So I'm gonna keep drinking. Like, basically, you got us with the mind tricks right there.
Health is not rather than what health is. We know that health is not merely the absence of disease, even...
You sure? I would say on a basic level that that's a fairly accurate description.
The WHO agrees with that one. We know that health is not just physical. Health is emotional, it is mental, it is social, it is environmental,
It is social, it is environmental. Okay. Well, when you go to the doctor, you're going there for the health aspects only, just the physical. So you could probably not mention all of your emotional problems to your medical doctor, right? When they tell you to lose weight, you're like, have you considered the social aspect? No, I'm a doctor. Not a social doctor. There's no social aspect to health. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Financial, there's all sorts of different things.
Doctor, I feel like garbage, man. What is it? Are you out of breath? Do you have a fever? Are you feeling tired lately? What? No, I'm financially drained. I came to you, a medical doctor, because of my financial problems. Also, socially, I'm not that healthy. So, have you considered any of those aspects of health? I am a medical doctor. I don't know what any of those words mean.
In fact, if your mental and emotional well-being is not great, then your physical health is not great.
If your physical health is not great, then your mental and emotional well-being is not going to be great. Also, I could tell you that. When I lost the weight, I felt 1,000 times more confident and 1,000 times better. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, I was uplifted. All of a sudden, I was hearing the angels. And that's only partially hyperbolic. It will literally change your entire life to lose weight, dude. You won't go into a restaurant and immediately assume that everybody's staring at you and judging you. You'll be free to be yourself for once.
If environmentally, you're living in an area of food scarcity or pollution, or where there's a lot of
pollution causes obesity now.
Stress or tension or political tension.
Political tension causes obesity now. Oh! So there are a lot of obese people like on the border between Greece and Turkey. Because the Greeks and the Turks have never gotten along, right? As far as I know, I believe that there's like a feud going back a long time. There's a lot of feuds between various countries that happen to be right next to each other. So people that live in the borders of all these countries are obese because of all the political unrest or something. I am learning a lot. All this political tension is really making me pack on the pounds. Political tension? What does that even mean? I'm not sure why you look so angry and bitter. This is the bitter beer face from the old Keystone beer commercials. I know I've made that joke before about this person, but it literally works.
Yeah, you can't be healthy. That's not possible.
You can't be healthy. That's not possible if you live in an area with political tension. You just can't even be healthy at all, dude.
If you are constantly living under the threat of, redundancy or...
The threat of redundancy? What? Dude, your arguments are redundant. You keep making the same tired arguments that don't mean anything and don't go anywhere. Living under redundancy. Redundancy is when you have like things to back up the other things, right? You have like several layers of security. Redundancy. Redundancy, the inclusion of extra components which are not strictly necessary to functioning in case of failure in other components. Having a backup parachute would be redundancy. I'm not sure what she means to live under redundancy. This is bizarre.
Or chronic stress. You can't be in good health.
Well, unless you work at it. And if you ignore all those other things and just focus on your health and you work on it, you can pretty much work on it.
Right? Physical health is going to suffer as a result. So, yeah, health is much more than just physical.
Right, but when you go to the doctor, you're going there for physical health. You're not going there for all these other things that you mentioned. Financial health, living under redundancy. You want to mention that to your doctor. Doctor, I gained 50 pounds because I'm living under redundancy. He's going to be like, what? You don't understand what the word redundancy means, do you? That would be his response, I would imagine.
It's not something we have any control over.
You don't have any control over your health.
Much as we'd love to believe otherwise. Yeah, now a lot of people think that they can control their health. You
can't.
You can't.
Hold on.
Now a lot of people think that they can control their health. You can't. You can't.
A lot of people think they could control your health. You can't. You can't. Okay, where do I sign up for this doctor? She says you can't control your health no matter what you do. I want to be part of that. Yes. So, should we even bother being born? We're literally born into a planet where we have no control over our own physical health. What do we have control over? Can we decide how we walk down the street or what we think? Or we don't have control over that either. We're just a leaf caught in a breeze, right? Why are we even here? Why are we here? Surely not to live in pain and fear. Why are you there? I'm everywhere.
Even those people who engage in quote-unquote health behaviours, that's still very, very, very small part of your all-round health.
No. Your physical health is taken care of by doing physical things. Physical activity and the food that you physically put in your mouth. That's literally it. If you have emotional issues, they might cause you to put more food into your mouth, and that's where the weight gain is coming from, not the emotions themselves.
I want to talk a little bit more about that over the next few days.
I just heard a child in the background of her video. Dude, two things that are extremely alarming to me. This person's a doctor. I just heard a kid in the background.
Health.
Yep, I heard it again.
Over the next few days. Health is not...
Instead of grandstanding on TikTok and spreading dangerous medical misinformation, perhaps you should tend to the small child that I can hear in the background.
Static. What I mean is, your definition of health is going to change over time. What is healthy at the age of 80 is not what you would necessarily consider healthy at the age of 40.
Dude, that's nonsense. The same thing that's healthy at 80 is healthy at 40.
Or at the age of 20, or at the age of 10, right? Health changes over time. It also changes across cultures, across communities.
No, it doesn't. It does not change at all. What's healthy for other people is also healthy for us. So it doesn't matter what community you're in.
Across, professions. If you're an Olympic gymnast, your idea of health is going to be very different to this TikToker. Like, of course it's going to be different.
Actually, no. What's healthy for any of those other groups is also healthy for you or me. When you reach the age of 40, all of a sudden sugar isn't good for you, okay? All of the ages that you listed should eat the same. From age 10 to age 80 should have a very similar diet. You don't really change it. Simple, home-cooked meals consisting of a protein, a starch, and a vegetable. That timeless classic works across all age groups and across all cultures. Over there in the Caribbean, they'll die if they eat like that. No, that's not how that works.
So, health is not static. It is not the same for everyone.
So therefore, being morbidly obese is advantageous.
It is definitely impacted by disease. Sure, I'll give you that.
Go take care of your kid.
But it's not underpinned by it, right? Like, you could have a disease or a disability, still consider yourself to be in good health. Equally,
that kid is really crying in the background.
You could be in really good health. You could be in really poor health and not have a disease or disability, but still say my health is really poor right now.
Right, but being obese is unhealthy.
So, what is a minor complaint for some people is a major complaint for others. Then, we have to remember that because health is so impossible to define, it's also very difficult to measure.
It's not impossible to define and it's not difficult to measure. To me, the basic definition of health is just literally a lack of disease or illness, right? You're not sick, you don't have any diseases. All right, close enough, you're healthy.
And when people talk about health, they're often not talking about health at all. They're talking about, there was a video, one of my videos was Stitch last week, and there was this guy who basically, like counter argument to what I had said was just an image of a guy like lifting weights and flexing his muscles.
Oh, I thought it was going to be that video that I made. I thought she was going to reference me and be like, yeah, that guy with the amazing mustache. His points were terrible, but I was lost in his mustache, so I just kept watching. I thought it was going to be that, but no, it's some other stupid video where some guy's lifting weights and flexing his muscles, which probably never happened, honestly. She's probably fabricating this entire thing.
As if that somehow had anything to do with health. I mean, it was luck.
Lifting weights has nothing to do with health. I would say that it's pretty healthy to exercise. I think we could all agree on that. Literally every single human being on earth could agree on that, except for you, I guess.
Laughable to me, but I imagine for this person and this person's followers, like, that actually made perfect sense.
Yeah, a lot of people do think that exercise is good for you. Crazy as that sounds.
There are people out there that believe that if you're muscly, or you have very defined muscles or very large muscles, that somehow you're the epitome of health, which is crazy to me.
Well, I mean, if you're using performance-enhancing drugs to get that physique, then you're very unhealthy, and you are going to have a very short life, just like somebody that's morbidly obese, honestly, depending on how far off the rails you're going with that stuff.
That's not true, but
But there are plenty of people that are very muscular that are not using gear. For instance, Jeff Cavalier from Athlean X. I don't believe that dude's using any gear, and he stays cut to the freaking gills 24/7, dude. He's old too. He's older than me.
For some people it is. So when we talk about health, often we're talking about very different things. And that is the same for doctors. I'd like to think that doctors are smart enough to know that you don't have to be built and, look like a wrestler in order to be considered healthy.
I would think that doctors would be smart enough to know that there are ways that you could be healthy, right? You claim to be a doctor, but earlier you said some people think that they can control their health, and that's just not true. So I wouldn't expect that sort of rhetoric from a doctor, that's for sure. You go to her and she's just like, well, you're in terrible shape. There's nothing you can do. See you next week. And you're like, what the hell? What was the point of this checkup? She's like, that'll be $500.
We're
Doctor, I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas.
slightly more evolved than that. But
Yeah, you are slightly more evolved than that. You're evolved past this idea of taking good care of your physical form.
that being said, I think often when doctors use the word health, they are, they're speaking in very narrow terms. Often they're talking about blood pressure or cholesterol or HbA1c.
They're not talking about the financial health, that's for sure, because they're a medical doctor.
Or something like that. Maybe, possibly they're talking about cancer risk or, I don't know, joint health or something like that.
I love how she's wearing a shirt that says Happy Days while spitting the most bitter vitriol that you've ever heard.
Again, but it's not, it's not the whole of the health. It's not health in its entirety. It's not holistic health. And I think we need to get much, much better as professionals about being more specific and using our words carefully. Do we care about your health or do we care about your blood pressure?
I think that they use the blood pressure to measure your health. You seem to be extremely confused on a lot of very basic principles of being a doctor. So I'm extremely confused myself about how you got a doctorate or how you're considered a doctor or how you have that title over there.
Do we care about your well-being or do we care about your A1C? Are we trying to get the numbers down so we look better on our, when on our computer system and when we're, being audited and measured and...
So you think doctors only have people lose weight so they look good when they're being audited and measured and stuff?
Judged by other people? Is that what we're looking for? What is it specifically we're talking about when we're talking about health?
We're talking about how obesity is very unhealthy. So if you are obese, you need to get rid of the excess adipose tissue to get healthy. As a doctor, you should know this.
I also think that doctors use this term health, this very broad, nebulous term, to justify their behaviour.
I don't really consider the doctor's behavior to be crappy when they're giving me advice on how to better my health. Yeah, so I think you should quit smoking, so you can breathe. Oh, doctor, that's a very nebulous definition of health. What? No, it's common sense, bro. It's common sense.
I think you can say almost anything, and when you sort of kind of go, yeah, but I'm just doing it because I care about your health, it's like, okay, get out of jail free card.
So doctors need to be held accountable for trying to help people.
Fine. Carry on.
So what do you recommend if people were to go to you as a doctor and they're like, yo, I'm tired, I'm out of breath, I got high blood pressure, I'm pre-diabetic because of all the sugar that I'm eating all the time? What would your recommendation be? There's nothing that you can do about any of that stuff. Keep eating the way that you're eating and not exercising, and maybe one day you will be in good health randomly, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. I'm just a doctor. What would I know about health, I guess?
That is, I think what happens more often than not. So yeah, when doctors say, I just care about your health, quite often, I mean, they may well think they care about your health, but A, they haven't really thought about what health means. B, they're not talking about health. They're talking about something else, and it may be very specific parameters. It may just be that they're conflating health and fatness.
Yeah, doctors are pretty stupid, so yeah, they're probably confused. You should probably educate your doctor on what health really is, which is why you went to his doctor's office and he didn't come to yours, right? Because you're the doctor and you're going to tell him, right? Doctor, let me go ahead and tell you a thing or two about this whole medical school thing, all right? You dummy. Me, as somebody in very poor health who cannot take care of myself in the slightest, I have a lot of strong opinions about what health is. I would not go to an alcoholic for lessons on how to be sober.
When they say they care about your health, they're just saying, I just don't want you to be fat. Lessons
on how to be sober. I'm starting a new AA group, and that's what we're going to title it. Lessons on how to be sober.
Which is just another, that's what they mean when you translate it. Not, I care about your health. I want you to stop being fat, if that's okay.
Doctors don't care about your health. I just want you to stop being fat, if that's okay. Not for your health, though, just for the heck of it. Doctors just want everybody to be attractive. They're like, you are not attractive to look at. I want you to be hot. I don't know if it's going to be good for your health or whatever. Screw your health. I just want you to be really hot. When you come in here, dude, I want to be like, damn, you were looking good, I guess. None of this makes any damn sense, man. What the hell? Why does a doctor want you to lose weight if they don't care about your health? They're just superficial. They're like, yeah, dude, I'm sick of all these fatties in here making my business look bad. When people come into my doctor's office, I want them to be like, damn, everybody in here is so fine. I'm going to spend a lot of money here, I guess.
I think that in of itself is not good enough reason. It's not good enough excuse to justify the terrible things that doctors are doing to their patients on a regular basis. So that was excuse number 1. And I'm going to do another one now for excuse number 2.
Okay, so that was just number 1. I thought that was all 5. So I guess if you go to this person as a doctor for their help, they're just going to tell you that everything is fine no matter what. You don't need to change the way you eat. You don't need to exercise. There's literally nothing that you can do to improve your health whatsoever. Well, why would I go to you at all then? Can't I just look myself in the mirror and be like, hey, you're worthless and you'll never amount to anything. I don't need you for that. I could say that to myself. What do you think? Would you go to this person as a doctor for help? Personally, I would never go to somebody with such a can't-do attitude. Literally nothing is possible, don't even try, with this person. In reality, the only thing that you need to do to improve your life is subscribe to my channel. Click the button. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Please click the like button. 1 like equals 1 mustache Komen. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.